Welcome in this new Feature of the Week video. As you already know, in PKanalix and Monolix, plots are generated in the graphical user interface as interactive figures with the task Plots and can be saved as static images in the result folder. The lixoftConnectors R package, which is a MonolixSuite API for R, allows to script the MonolixSuite in order to create or load a project and run it exactly like in the interface of PKanalix, Monolix or Simulix, except that until now it was not possible to generate the plots in R. With the new version of MonolixSuite, the plots are now available also as ggplot objects in R, thanks to new functions in the package lixoftConnectors. These functions are documented on the online documentation and the package documentation, and all start with plot. There is one for each type of plot from Monolix and PKanalix. When used with the default setting, they produce plots with the same design as in the interface. As you can see with this example, after loading the project, running plot observations versus predictions generates this plot, which is very similar to the one in the interface. In addition, like in the interface, the plots can also be personalized with arguments detailed in the documentation for each plot connector, as we can see here, for example, for plot observation versus prediction. Let's have a look at some examples. First, specific arguments allow to select the subplot to display when it is applicable. For example, here, the observations versus population predictions, in addition to the observations versus individual predictions. Moreover, a list of additional elements to overlay on the plot can be selected in the argument settings. On this example, we have the 90% prediction interval and the legend, as well as log scales on both axes. Stratification of the plots by covariates or occasions can be done the same way as in the interface, with split, like on this example, where a plot of observed data is split by dose group, or with color, like on this one, as well as filter, like for this VPC, filtered for a particular dose group. Finally, the preferences argument covers modifications of the appearance of elements of the plot. In these plots of individual fit, the dosing times are colored in red, the observed data in gray, and the fits in black. All possible display options in preferences can be seen with the function getPlotPreferences, used with the name of each connector. For this function plot individual fits, for example, you can see here the first options in the list. Note that some settings are even more flexible than in the interface. In particular, it is possible to draw mean curves from observed data in different groups on the same plot, like this. Histograms, split and colored by some covariate, can also be compared on the same plot, like these distributions of individual V parameters in different groups of sex. In addition, since the plots are ggplot objects, it is easy to modify them for even more customization. For instance, here I have added a horizontal line on this individual fit. Finally, if you want to generate the same plot several times with different settings or preferences, a convenient approach is to first generate all the data from the plot with the function getChartData with the name of the corresponding connector, here plot VPC, and then use the connector to draw the plot based on the data with different options, here as default or with black dashed bin limits on the right. Drawing each plot is then much faster because the data don't have to be retrieved each time. That's it for this video. Have a nice week!